Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Dr. Staci Holweger here. I'm so excited you decided to join us this evening. If you are a guest for the first time, I want to kind of give you an idea of what's going to be happening tonight. For those of you that I've seen before many times, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So just to kind of give you a little bit of info here, my name is Dr. Staci. I am not a medical doctor. I am not your doctor, obviously. So if you have questions tonight regarding your health with the information that I'm going to be sharing, please remember you're going to need to talk to your doctor, your healthcare practitioner about your medical condition. The information that I'm going to share tonight about Lifewave is definitely informational only. I will give you resources and places to look up more facts and whatnot, but remember, I won't be giving any medical advice. I won't be sharing anything that is going to be diagnosing or treating or curing anything to do with your specific health condition. So with that, let's go ahead and get started because I want to give plenty of time to be able to answer your questions. So the way this goes, for those of you that are guests here, I'm going to share some information about Lifewave's technology, about the inventor and the science and the research and all that kind of stuff. I'll weave in, people's experiences as well too, of course, but I will have a Q&A session towards the end, like after about 20 or 30 minutes or so. And then what I want you to do at that time, you have a chat here. Obviously with hundreds of people, we're not able to unmute, but you can ask your questions in the chat. Now, I do ask you to remember that I won't be discussing diseases or any syndromes. I want you to talk in reference to the symptoms that you're experiencing, okay? So if you had a grocery list of problems, of issues, I want that list, okay? Tell me, what would I do if I had issues with my blood sugar? What would I do if my brain just is not functioning in tip-top shape, right? Because the information I'm going to be sharing with you is going to be in reference to our clinical studies, to systems and organs and how they are functioning in an improved way from using this technology. But remember, I can't talk about specific diseases. So if you do happen to put something in there, I'm just going to reroute it, okay? Just so you guys understand that. So let's talk about the beginning of this tech. Who is the inventor? Who discovered this? And how did this happen? How did this take place, right? This little non-transdermal patch here that looks like a silly, sticky round Band-Aid. But that's what we're going to talk about. And so David Schmidt is the inventor of this technology. He is a scientist, he's a researcher, and he's invented many things in his lifetime. He started when he was a little boy inventing. If you want to hear his full story, you can see it on my YouTube channel. I interviewed him a few months ago, and so he shared that kind of background. But I want to talk to you specifically about what he has invented here at Lifewave. So a little over 20 years ago, David was working with his partners in a company, and they were contracted by the U.S. Department of Defense. They were contracted to help with survival equipment for the Navy SEALs. And so he was inventing things for oxygenation for the SEALs. Things were going fantastic. He contributed a lot to the problems and issues they were having on their many submissions. And so they asked him if he could help in any way with the issues the SEALs had with oxygen or with sustainability and endurance and oxygenation in their cells, right at the cellular level. With the time in the field that the SEALs spend, they were on caffeine, amphetamines, uppers, all kinds of stimulants, and their quality of life was not that great, honestly. And so David thought, he was thinking about some of his previous inventions. He's invented, a lot of things, and you can see he holds over 150 patents himself personally. And so he had worked a lot in cancer research with different types of bioelectrical devices that he invented to help with different types of cancer treatments. And so he started thinking about the way the cells work and how that process happens inside of the body. And he thought about, how can I increase mitochondrial function? How can I impact that ATP, that energy source, that powerhouse in the cell? And he kind of started thinking about kind of like a vortex, right? The cell's like a vortex. And so he was downloaded by the divine, these are his words, downloaded by God, the idea, or divinely inspired, to create a non-transdermal patch that works with the body's own bioelectrical system. We are light, right? We are trillions of cells of light. So working with that biofield to be able to activate the body's own fat burning resources, which is crazy. And so it's called beta oxidation. So he invented the energy enhancer patch. These patches right here, it's a 2-patch system. It's called energy enhancer, and it works with the body's own bioelectric field. And it triggers beta oxidation in the body. And what that means is it turns body fat into fuel. I don't know about you guys, but I have a little extra body fat I want to turn into fuel. And so this works with the polarity of your body, meaning we have a positive and a negative side. And so the white patch goes on the right, the tan patch goes on the left. We can use them on different points on your wrist or even on the back of the wrist, inside of the ankles or even down by the knee. If you look here, we have an instruction booklet that shows you some possible points where you can apply this. No matter where you're applying it, you're triggering that beta oxidation, turning that body fat into fuel. And so that went great for the SEALs. Everything was fantastic. They were having better endurance and energy, stamina. It helps with your heart rate variability, so they could see a balancing in their heart rate, even out on the field in missions where you would think like, woo, you would be like just at a really, sympathetic nervous system turned on point. Energy enhancer has a component about it because it is, again, working with the body's bioelectric field at those points to be able to balance that heart rate. And so everything was fantastic until 9/11 happened. And we all know what happened in our country in 9/11. Of course, the government, the U.S. Department of Defense, pulled out of that mini submission to protect our country, to bear more arms. And so David started thinking, this is a fantastic idea. I want to help more people, but I've got to have some more research, some more facts, some more data to show that this is actually doing what I think it's doing inside of the body at the cellular level. And so he went to his buddy, Richard Quick. He got connected with Richard Quick, who is a 6-time USA Olympic swim coach. He was at Stanford University. And he asked him to use these patches on his Olympic swimmers and on his female swimmers there at Stanford University. So long story short, 7 out of the 8 swimmers improved their personal record, personal best, using the energy enhancer. And David spent 2 years there doing clinical studies with the Stanford University swim team, and went on, of course, to use these with the USA Olympic swim team. And I'm sure many of you have heard back in 2008, there was a massive controversy, right, with the Olympians. They swept the golds, and, there was all this patch. This is putting something in the body, chemicals, and, you can't have any stimulants or anything. So they wanted to disqualify them. But of course, they had to do studies to show proof whether or not there was something in there, because you can't use a patch that's putting something in the body. No chemical, no substance, no nutrient, nothing. And so they conducted all of their studies, and they 100% proved that there was nothing. The USA Olympic Board proved there was nothing in the patches. And so when I say non-transdermal, that goes for the energy enhancer. It goes for all the patches that I'm going to be speaking with you about tonight. Non-transdermal means nothing's entering the body. So on the patch is an actual crystal lattice structure. If you look at this patch, you will see this white disc inside. This part is sticky, and then this part is smooth. So embedded in between those two polymer shells is what David has invented that's on here, this lattice structure. It's a proprietary blend, of course, of amino acids, oxygen, water, and sugars. Those molecules, not things like you find in your kitchen, but those molecules form together in a very specific way to form this lattice. This lattice is reflective. And so when I apply this patch to my body's light or heat reflects back off that patch into me a very specific wavelength. And that wavelength of light is going to do something to cause a biophotonic exchange of information, causing a biochemical reaction inside of our body. And so in the case of the energy enhancer, this working with your body's biofield elevates or impacts that mitochondrial function. And so that impacts, of course, the light coming out of the cells, the energy production in the cells, and then in turn improves our stamina and endurance and energy on a daily basis for anyone and everyone. We know as we age, our cells shrink, they become smaller, they produce less light, they're not as effective in cell-to-cell communication. And so we can see that energy enhancer helps to expand that cell, to expand that light, and improve that cell-to-cell communication, which is huge for longevity, for anti-aging, and obviously for that pep in your step, get up and go, and everything you need every single day, right, to get your body moving. Another benefit of using energy enhancer is that it does turn over your lymphatic system. So when you're looking at your lymphatic system, that is your body's like waste removal system. We want to get things out. We know exercise does that. Obviously, our USA Olympic swim team, our SEAL team, they're no stranger to exercise. But for your modern day, everyday American, that may be a different situation. So if you're a weekend warrior, I love that Laura said that this weekend. She actually got to speak on stage about our athletes. But she said, if you're a weekend warrior or if you're, a professional athlete, it doesn't matter, anywhere in between, you're going to have benefits from using this technology. And specifically with Energy Enhancer, we see improvements in the energy, the endurance, the stamina. For my son, when he was in high school playing basketball, he was the only kid on the court his junior and senior year that didn't need to sit out to take a break, right? He's running nonstop, one end to the other, and never even missed a beat, where the other kids could go a minute, 2 minutes, maybe 3 max, and they need a break. His girlfriend in high school, her mother, marathon runner, like full-blown marathon, late 40s, 50s, and boom, using the energy enhancer, did an excellent job beating her times, running those races, not missing a beat, more so than she ever had in her entire running career. So it definitely helps with, all ages, all people with endurance and stamina, and of course with helping to keep your body moving, keep that energy flow moving through your body. It opens up those energy channels. So fantastic. Side note I have to mention on Energy Enhancer is that when you're thinking about turning over your lymphatic system, using it on the lung points, I mentioned right here, these points, we're going to help with the lungs. So anything to do with the lungs, with the air, with getting excess phlegm out, all of that, we see huge benefits with Energy Enhancer for that. So that's how David got started with that patch. And then in 2008, he started into stem cell research. He really started to look at how stem cells impact the body. How can we activate stem cells? And he actually invented some different types of electrical type devices, PEMFs and things like that, and thought, this isn't very accessible. This isn't very available to most people. And so he went on and started studying patch technology, and with the hopes, of course, of finding a way to be able to activate the body's own stem cell production using this type of patch technology. And so over the last 20 years, David has invented a dozen different patches. Each patch does something different, does something to be able to activate a different peptide in the body to help bring the body into balance. But when you look at stem cell production, we know that stem cells are the holy grail of healing. If you guys heard me 2 weeks ago sharing my story with my daughter, we spent over 10 years doing different types of stem cell therapy, hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. We did stem cell injections. We did drops, tinctures, all different types of stuff, trying to elevate her stem cells or get more stem cells into her body to heal. They were extremely expensive. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and a lot of time traveling all over this country and out in hopes to be able to do that. Well, of course, David, we know with Lifewave, has invented the X39. And X39 is a fantastic patch that elevates a very specific peptide. And that's what you see on my chest right now. It elevates the peptide GHK-Cu copper peptide. And just so you understand, I'm not saying copper as in a mineral inside of your body, but I'm talking about an actual peptide. And a peptide is a chain of proteins, amino acids, small chains, and that's the building blocks of your body. And we have a lot of different peptides in our body. They do a lot of different things, okay? Like you're very familiar with insulin, right? And how that balances your blood sugar. Believe it or not, that's a peptide. And so there are a lot of them, but I want to focus on GHK-Cu and copper peptide. I have a book here. Here it is. By Dr. Harmon. If you were at convention, you probably saw Dr. Harmon. You may have even gotten your book signed by Dr. Harmon. And so he has written a book, and it's called How to Reverse Aging, a very comprehensive guide to copper peptides. So copper peptides, again, are chains of proteins, amino acids, the building blocks of your body. This peptide is responsible for a lot. And I'm just going to kind of share with you a little bit in the index so you can understand the power of copper peptides. So copper peptides are powerful in the immune system and balancing, regulating, improving the immune system. They're huge in the skin. I don't know if you guys have ever had a facial, but if you go to an esthetician, they talk a lot about your skin, copper peptides, how that activates stem cell production, how that regenerates and repairs your skin. David may or may not have given Laura and I a copper peptide eye cream at our SPD retreat this past week that I've been using every day, and I'm so happy about the under eye. Laura, do you have something to say about that? You dying right now? I'm unmuting you. Tell me.
Dying. I'm dying. So I'm using it under my eyes, but you know what I've noticed? A little trick, you guys. Staci, I've been using it around my lips. Because you know, the skin around our lips, especially as time seems to go, gets a little thin.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Big difference. That's all I'm going to say. Big.
Well, I'm going to start that tomorrow morning. I didn't think about that yet.
Yeah. Well, tonight after you wash your face, a little here, done.
Okay. Well, see, I'm only 25, so I wasn't thinking that, you know?
Well, I'm 30 and I just want to get ahead of it. You know,
I love it. I love it. Okay. So I always use my night cream, my aloe vera night cream at night, and it goes all even over my lips. Like I literally do my whole face, under my eyes and my lips. So I've got to put that eye cream in my nighttime routine too. I haven't even done that yet. So I will do around my lips and under my eyes for you tonight, Laura, and every night from this day forward, because I will never turn 30, but I'll definitely want to always look like I'm in my 20s. So there we go. Perfect tip. So face, definitely. Yeah, you saw that little jar in my picture, that cute little baby one. All right, so copper peptides and your cardiovascular system. Gosh, anyone have a cardiovascular system? We can see in our clinical studies that every 6 weeks using the X39, that actually repairs and improves the functionality of your vascular system by 8 weeks. Every 6 weeks, it functions 8 weeks younger. Gosh, cardiovascular system improvement with elevating GHK-Cu copper peptide. We can also see the role of copper peptides in athletic performance and in exercise. No matter what type of exercise that is, we can see improvement in oxygenation, respiration, cellular regeneration and repair, recovery, reduction in that downtime. Copper peptides and metabolic regulation. I don't know if you've been had your blood tested recently to see what your metabolic function is. It's very important to longevity and health. Copper peptides and the brain. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite studies was actually done with the EEG, which is the brain mapping. You guys have seen that, right? Like neurofeedback, and being able to look at how the brain is improving with this X39. They could start to see some subtle changes around 3 weeks, not 3 days, but 3 weeks. At 6 weeks, not 6 days, but 6 weeks using this patch, they saw huge improvements in the brain, in coherence. You have a right brain, left brain. We need them to be in communication and in sync. And so using that, we saw huge improvements in that brain. Also, copper peptides and neurodegeneration. So playing a role in preventing that neurodegeneration. Copper peptides and cognitive function. Do you know anyone that needs help with memory, with brain fog, with concentration, with focus, with mental clarity, energy? Copper peptides are going to benefit that. The healing power of copper peptides. When we look at wound healing, bone healing, when we look at breaks and bruises and scratches, gosh, we've seen so many pictures of people that have had accidents, and whether it be facial or on their body, surgeries. Laura herself was not even a couple weeks in and had a full-blown hip surgery, and the ability of her body to heal and repair itself was absolutely astronomical. Laura, I remember you telling me what your doctor had said when you went in. What was it, at your 2-week checkup? What was that? Which with your, you should be from like head to toe. What was he saying?
They came in, the nurses came to the house, took like 30 staples out of my hips. 2 weeks after, 3 days later, I went in, and when they were looking at me, they were just staring and they weren't saying anything. And I'm like, God, what is wrong? You know, what's happening? And I finally said, James, what is there a problem? He goes, no, there's no problem. He said, however, he said, your incision is already flat. There's no keloid, there's no bunching. And he said, I can see white lines coming up on it already, which is unheard of in 2 weeks. He said, but the huge thing is, you know, we beat you to death in there. And we vividly told your husband that you were going to be in excruciating pain and that you're going to be black and blue from your hip to your ankle. And you guys, I had no pain. I did not take any of my pain medication. My husband made me take it a day and a half because, you know, they say stay ahead of the pain, but I didn't need it. But I had no bruising, zero bruising. And that's just unheard of. It's just unheard of. So,
and I mean, not to mention that you can't even see your scar now. We were out on the boat 2 weeks ago, and we were out at the pool last week, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it's crazy what happens with your body when you activate your own copper peptides. So
amazing.
Impressive.
It really is. 40% faster.
Yeah, we see that. I actually got to meet Dr. Adam and his wife in person, Carrie, at our conference last weekend. And Dr. Adam, if you haven't seen that YouTube yet on my channel, I interviewed him several months ago. He's a plastic surgeon in Tampa, and he does a very specific under eye procedure people fly in for all over the country and the world. And he actually has before and after pictures. I want to share an update, by the way. Thank you for bringing that up, Laura. Share an update from him. So he has people come in and they have, you know, of course you have to take pictures. They have to come back after a couple weeks, couple months, that kind of stuff, track the progress and the healing of his work, right? And so he started incorporating X39 into his practice back in January of this year. And at first his protocol was, you know, they have to fill everything out online. Part of that filling out process is they have to purchase a 3-month supply of the X39. They get a discount, of course, but they get to have, you know, 1 month pre-surgery, 2 months post-surgery. And everything was going fantastic. He actually saw, like you said, a 40% reduction in healing time. He has before and after pictures that he shows on the Zoom that I did with him, that recording, where the recovery time is cut almost in half from using the X39. They are healing so much faster because of what this patch is activating inside of their body. But he told me here recently that he's actually done up things a little bit different and is required them to go ahead and stay on a 6-month commitment of the patches. And the reason why is because not only were people coming back to him immediately, even some in the first month before the surgery, and saying, what have you done to me? What is happening? Like, I couldn't open my hands. I had these issues. Now my hands are fine. The pain and the inflammation and all of the things that are accompanied with joints, not having that mobility, all of that stuff's gone. I'm sleeping like a baby. I feel like I'm in my 30s again. You know, everything has changed in my life, and all I was doing was using this patch for this eye surgery that you told me to, and yet now I'm having all these crazy results. And so he said they're seeing even, you know, of course, still fast results, but even more beneficial things are happening with their patients. And he's actually teaching other doctors around the country and incorporating this into his presentation to share with them to use this protocol in their practices as well, too, because of the power of what the next chapter is, which is the power of copper peptides to activate your own stem cells for regeneration. And so that's what he is seeing in his practice with his patients. It's absolutely amazing. 40% reduction in recovery time. That doesn't happen, right? It just doesn't happen. And especially from this little bitty round Band-Aid thing. But then you can see the implications of copper peptides with epigenetics, and of course, lots of other things that he mentions in this book. So if you don't have this book yet, you can get it on Amazon. It is so simple and easy to read and understand. I promise you, it is in normal people's language. It is not, even though it was written by a doctor, he's a chiropractor, he's a brain specialist, but that's why there's so many chapters on the brain in here. It's very easy to understand. He has lots of references in the back as well too. So definitely get that book to check out more benefits. And you can also go to PubMed. There are thousands of clinical studies on PubMed with the benefits of GHKCU copper peptide. There is also a research website that I want to send you to. It's Dr. Lauren Picard. He actually is the doctor that discovered this peptide over 50 years ago. And so you can see on his website all the benefits from asthma and allergies, COPD, all the way to cancer he talks about on his site. It has nothing to do with our patches, but that website, reverseagingwithghk.com, gives you a lot of information about other benefits of GHK as well too. So knowing that this patch elevates that peptide, and of course we can see that in clinical studies with people looking at their blood work, double-blind placebo peer-reviewed studies, that really is impactful in what it's doing for people's health and their longevity and their vitality and their wellness, and also their repair and regeneration. So I want to give you a different site. Laura's going to put it in the chat, and it's startx39now.com. That site is going to have videos for you to watch. It's going to have videos of David, videos of other doctors, practitioners, and also PDFs, facts, the information, but the clinical studies are on there. The patents are on there. And I want you to have access to that information. A lot of times people are like, oh, clinical studies, science, facts, blah, 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 it's all fake. Well, remember, David's been doing this for 20 years, and he has doctors and practitioners, scientists, researchers all over the globe that have researched his patches, that have studied his patches. And so it's not just him saying this or him paying for that study. We're talking double-blind, placebo-controlled, peer-reviewed studies. And if you caught my interview with Dr. Dan a couple of weeks ago, he talks about the difference in those studies and how important it is to get those double-blind, placebo, peer-reviewed. And so we do have those on there as well too. You can do your own research, your own information later. At the end of the day, here's how the patch works. I get up in the morning and brush my teeth, because you all do that, right? You put your patch on. So put your patches in your bathroom. They come in a month's supply. You're going to leave that patch on for 12 hours. 12 hours, I leave my patch on. So then I go later on in the evening, brush my teeth, take my patch off, throw it away, okay? It's only meant to be worn 12 hours. The reason why, it's working with our body's heat or light that we emit. That heat can be seen right now. Laura and I live in Florida, and it's dark. So if I were to go outside, I'd look through night vision goggles. I could see the animals outside. I could see my neighbors down the street if I was looking through night vision goggles, because I would see the heat or light being emitted from their body. That's what this patch is working with. So I leave it on 12 hours, take it off, throw it away. My body needs a break. I need a break, right? I need a break to repair and regenerate. And also at that time, that lattice structure that I said that's in the patch, that starts to dissipate, okay? Because it's been on a 100-degree body all day long. It's like, I'm done. I need a break too, right? And so then we're going to reapply. How long do I have to keep patching? How long until I see results? People always want to know that. Is this going to interact with any medications or supplements or things that I'm doing? So number one, we patch until we want to start aging again. That's it. You patch until you want to start aging again. The longer you patch, the more things you cross off your list. Remember, I told you at the beginning, you got a list of problems, of issues. You're going to cross those off one by one. This is not a quick fix. This is regenerative medicine. David holds over 70 patents in the area of regenerative medicine. You will find that the longer you patch, the better you feel, the younger you feel, the younger you are, right? My biggest claim to fame, I guess I would say, out of all this, because I've been healthy my entire life, is the fact that my biomarkers show I'm half my age. I'm almost 50. My biomarkers show half of that. That is important for prevention, for vitality, longevity, and wellness. If you're not in that situation and you want to get your body in balance, you're going to use this patch until you cross all the things off your list, right? What do you notice first? Well, I can tell you that there are people in the One Patch Wonder Club. And that just means, like Laura, they put on a patch and they could feel something 20 minutes later, right? Shoulder pain, mobility, things improved in 20 minutes. For me, it was 3 weeks before I could tell any difference in my workouts, before I could tell some difference in my brain processing. But again, that's all I noticed personally. But the blood work shows it all. And you all have blood work. You all have scans. You all have tests. You all go to the eye doctor. You all go to the ear doctor and the dentist, right? So you're getting these things checked yearly. And so you're going to see that progress over time when you go back to your doctor, when you go back for blood work, when you go back for scans and tests and things like that. So For you, it's going to be different than it is for everyone else, right? No one person's the same. Maybe you're going to be in the One Patch Wonder Club. Maybe you're going to be like Catherine's mother, Rosemary, at age 85. She didn't feel anything for 5 months. She'd been on a walker for 2 years. You know, her cognitive abilities were declining a little bit. She was on medication. She wasn't sleeping well. 5 months later, she's off her walker. She's walking down to the lake to meet her family, right? She has so much cognition. She's just chatting away when I met her 5 months later, nonstop, right? She's walking miles around the convention center. She's off medication. She's sleeping like a baby. Life's amazing. And so it takes time for people. Just know that you will be on a journey of recovery, of repair, of regeneration, of wellness, and be okay with that process. Be okay with that time frame. I love Gary Homburg, our Superman, we call him. He says, don't stop patching before you have your miracle. You never know when that's going to happen for you. The key is just to stay consistent and persistent with it and patch every day. Make sure you stay hydrated, half your body weight in ounces in water every day. Make sure you're getting some type of electrolytes. I love Celtic sea salt or maybe a little sea moss, right? We got to have those trace minerals in our body. A lot of people are mineral deficient. And if you would just have the right amount of potassium, sodium, magnesium, calcium, all those trace minerals, there's 102 of them, you would be in much better shape, right? So staying hydrated with the right minerals is important. Know that there are no contraindications, no side effects, no interactions. We have every single clinical study available for you, and everyone has to report if there are any side effects. 0 adverse side effects from any of our participants in any of our studies. That's huge. That's really, 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 really important to know that no one was harmed in this using this product. Can you say that for our medical system? No, when you see those commercials on TV, oh my God, who would sign up for that stuff? I don't care if it gives you that little bitty baby ounce of whatever. The list, the pages long are not worth it. Your key is to get your body in balance, get your nutrition right, detox that crap out of your body, stay hydrated, get out in nature, right? My gosh, it's beautiful outside. Get your feet on the ground, get good sleep, exercise, and use your patches every day to get your body back in balance. And so when you do that, you're going to want to share with other people, which is why you have invited guests tonight and why you're going to share this recording. So please know that we're here to help you. I will answer your questions as best as I possibly can. Again, remember, we're not talking about diseases, but you're going to get back with that person that invited you. You're going to have that personal conversation with them, and they're going to be able to help you meet your needs, whatever they may be. So when we're looking at our questions, I love answering these questions. Believe it or not, I don't, obviously I have no idea what you guys are going to say. But all the recordings are always on my YouTube channel. You can go to DRSTACI, Dr. Staci, on YouTube, and you will find hundreds and hundreds of videos. Okay. Good question. So I am not a medical doctor. I have a PhD in integrative medicine and a PhD in functional medicine. So my focus has always been for 20 years, nutrition is the foundation. Detoxification is key, right? I've always done all kinds of detoxes my whole life. I started at age 18 with the water detox. Y'all remember that? Distilled water, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice with a little bitty baby bit of honey to cut the kick from the cayenne. I did a 7-day fast when I was 18 years old. Why? I don't know. I read about it in a natural health magazine, and I thought this sounds like a great idea to cleanse my body. And I do cleanses every single quarter. All different types, all different kinds, all different places. I've bought them all, done them all. I'm open to do any and all cleanses. I actually have 2 new ones that I just purchased, different types here at home. I'm always into doing something quarterly to detox my body. Think about this. You own a car, right? All of you own a car, or maybe you have at some point in time in your life. Would you go without changing the oil in that car ever? Would you go without changing the tires or the brakes? No, it's not going to function. You've got to change your oil and your tires and your brakes of your car, which means you've got to detox, right? You got to get that stuff out of the body. All right, so how is the nanotechnology of the patches different from the nanotechnology of the vaccines? Woo, that's kind of a crazy, scary question. We have nothing entering the body. When David says nanotechnology, that means that the inside of this patch, okay, I'm going to show you this again. This is sticky. This is smooth. That means there are two polymer shells. They are 3M hypoallergenic. They are sandwiched, right? This clear, this like a white part in here is sandwiched in between those clear polymer shells. So nothing is entering the body. But when we say nano, unfortunately today has a bad rap, but nano means teeny tiny little bitty baby, so small. When you look at vaccines, we're not going to get into that because God, that could be an hour discussion of itself. But when you look at Lifewave's technology, okay, we're talking about nano-sized, what they're called chiral stereoisomers. They are solutions of amino acids, oxygen, sugars, and water. Not amino acids that I drink after my workout, not sugar from my pantry because I don't have sugar. I use monk fruit. Hopefully you threw all your sugar away years ago. If you didn't, go do it now. Don't try to use it and wait till it's gone. Just go get rid of it. Not that kind of stuff from your kitchen. We're talking about molecules, compounds, stereoisomers that form together a very specific way. They are so small, we call them nano, right? And they form together in this crystal lattice structure. That is embedded on that white part. That's what David's has invented. It's proprietary, it's organic solutions. And so that's what we mean by nanotechnology, meaning small solutions together. Nothing is entering the body. There are no amino acids, sugars, oxygen, water entering your body. It is a wavelength of light that enters your body. That wavelength of light is what elevates the peptide, okay? And that is proven in clinical studies by blood work to elevate that peptide. So we can see that happening in the blood. Energy enhancer patches, do they have long-term benefits such as X39? Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. When you look at mitochondrial function or dysfunction, improving that function is huge for longevity and for your overall health and wellness. 100% yes, definitely. What patches would benefit chronically swollen ankles? No condition might be causing other than my feet. On a lot, I would use the X39 and the Eon, and I would also use the energy enhancer on those ankle points. If you see this right here, put them right inside there or right here on this point of the below the knee. That's going to help turn over that lymphatic system. Get some exercise. Go put your bare feet in the ground too. That'd be very beneficial. Grounding or earthing is so huge for your health. A friend is in their 70s, had a life-changing event, lost 90% use of his right hand, limited to ability to walk with stability. What should he try? Definitely the X39 for sure, 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I would also, because of this life-changing event, I would use the Eon patch. I always recommend Eon. Eon reduces inflammation in the body. We know inflammation is a root cause of disease, so we want to bring down those inflammatory markers. It also brings your nervous system into balance, which is super important and beneficial when we're looking at the repair and regeneration process. So as far as Lifewave testimonials on Telegram, you're going to get with the person that invited you here. That person is going to be able to help you, invite you to Telegram and teach you how to search. There's a very specific way that you search for those testimonials. So Trevor, just get back with the person that invited you here. Is energy enhancer cumulative? Can we wear it 2 to 3 days a week and feel the effects in between? No. So it doesn't work that way. So this works with your body's own bioelectric field, meaning the own biofield, your light within inside of your body, and it triggers beta oxidation. If you're not wearing it, it's not triggering beta oxidation. And so it's really important that if you want the benefits of energy enhancer, that you use it. What patch would you suggest for menopausal women? Well, we got to get our body in balance. We got to eat right. Okay. We got to cut out all the JUNK out of our diet. That's super important because you feel like crap a lot of times because of the sugar and the gluten and the dairy. So I would definitely use the X39 and the Eon. We see huge benefits from women using the Alavita at night. Alavita is a fantastic patch. You only can wear it at night. It does impact a specific peptide in the pineal gland. So we see improvements with the entire system of organs and glands like the hypothalamus, the frontal lobes. We see improvements in the female organs. And so I would definitely use on all of the organs in your intestines, your midsection. So I would definitely use the aloe vera for sure. As far as when, I don't know when you can get the eye cream. I'm not for sure, honestly. David said that would be launching very soon. So I hope you guys can get it before Laura and I look like we're 10 again. I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't said yet. Okay. So as far as, yeah, if you go to startx39now.com, you'll be able to see all the information on the patches in written form. There's actually a 52-page PDF that David wrote, and it's called The Story of X39. You can see all of that information in that document. Okay. How long should you be on energy enhancer before you notice more stamina and energy? 1 day. So 1 day, you're going to feel a difference. You're definitely going to feel a difference on day 1. That's what it's designed to do. It happens instantly, triggering that beta oxidation. So as far as your daughter, she can start using the patch on day 1. Use it in practice. She's going to, here's the way I look at it. Like with my son, he would use it when he was practicing. Why? Because it's only going to improve his game because he can keep going, right? So the more you go, the more you practice, the more you do, the better you're going to get versus not. So I would start it right now at the beginning of season, every day that she's practicing. Okay, so when can the rest of us, I know you guys all want it, right? I love the aloe vera. Does the energy enhancer help with scars on the lungs? I'm not going to say that it's going to help with scars. I know that it's going to help to expel excess fluid in the lungs, turning over that lymphatic system, getting that air moving, getting all the lymph system moving throughout your entire body. Your lymphatic system is massive. It's everywhere in your body. But I would definitely use the X39 and Eon with it. Absolutely 100%. Okay, so eye surgery, you lost sight in an eye, patched immediately the day with X39 Eon and X49 carnosine on the eye. Ooh, wow, and your eyesight started to return within 6 days. That's impressive. So for those of you that are talking about eyes, we always talk about the, of course, X39, because we know what GHK does, right? For the brain, and your eyes are sitting in there in your brain, your optic nerves back here in the back, believe it or not. But carnosine is a huge patch for your brain. It directly impacts those eyes. So that's great to hear that you had results in just 6 days. Fantastic. So with someone experiencing myelin sheath that's compromised, so when you look at the brain, okay, so I'm going to tell you all the patches that impact the brain. Obviously, number 1, X39, I mentioned that from our clinical studies, right, with brain mapping. We see huge improvements in the brain with X49. X49 is the latest patch that David has invented 2 years ago. He invented it to help people with building lean muscle mass, with reducing body fat, stopping bone loss, increasing bone density, heart improvements, and neurological improvements. So if I were looking at the brain, I would definitely use these 2 patches 100% without a shadow of a doubt because of what they do neurologically. I would also use the Eon because we know there's going to be inflammation in there. If there are issues, if things aren't functioning correctly, remember, inflammation is the root cause. So we want to get the inflammatory markers down. We want to help bring that parasympathetic system online so that the body can recover. And then the other patch I would look at for the brain is carnosine. Carnosine is a huge antioxidant. In my PhD for functional med, there's a book called Anti-Aging Medicines. And I'm like, God, what can this be about? We don't talk about medicines and functional med like that, and getting the body in balance. And number one anti-aging medicine is carnosine. Number 1. And carnosine is an antioxidant that your body makes. It declines as you age. This elevates your own carnosine level. Carnosine is different than glutathione. Glutathione likes to hang out systemically. It'll go anywhere, neutralize toxins, and be able to help with your immune system anywhere. Carnosine loves to hang out in the brain. It loves to balance left brain, right brain hemisphere. This is the patch that got my daughter talking. After 15 years of being nonverbal, carnosine words started coming out like crazy. So that's a huge patch for cognition, for all of your executive faculties and functions. It's also huge for the brain. There is no coincidence for the heart and the brain that these are our 4 patches, heart and brain both. Heart and brain both are directly connected, and you will see huge benefits. Do you have to use all four? No, you can just start with X39. I don't know that your body's own cellular repair system is going to go to your brain first. I don't know where your cells are going to go to start the repair process first, but I do know that these other patches that support that system directly impact it very quickly, I would say. All right. And this may happen very fast too. I'll share this with you. I'm going to make a note right now. What is the lady's name? I cannot remember. I met her in Kansas City a couple weeks ago. Gary and I flew up there, and she stood up and she said that she had, let's just say, brain memory cognition issues. She couldn't remember her children's name. She'd drive to Walmart. She'd have no idea where she parked her car, or the fact that she was even in Walmart. She'd be driving down the road. She'd forget where she was. Long story short, she used these 3 patches, and she said within 2.5 months, it was like someone pulled the plug out of the bathtub and the water drained, and she had memory back. She had cognition back. She had everything back in her brain. She was at convention last week and came up and gave me a huge hug, and was just so happy and excited to see me again, and was just thrilled to be there, and that she had her life back. That's huge when your brain is not functioning correctly. So I would definitely use all the patches. If it were me personally, I'd put them all on every day. In the morning when I got up, all of them. That's what I did to my daughter. I put them on every day, sent her off to school, and she came back home, and I took them off 12 hours later, right? Total 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So as far as the patches go, with causing side effects, someone in here is saying that your child had a seizure, a client had a seizure. So the patches don't cause anything to happen to you in a negative or detrimental way. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 0 adverse side effects. 100%. We would not be in business if our patches caused something harmful to happen to people, which sounds kind of crazy because you wouldn't think the medical system would be in business either, but they are. What is it, 250,000 deaths from properly prescribed medications every year? I don't know. That could be not appropriate to say. But anyway, the patches do not cause seizures. They do not cause any side effects at all. They will do nothing harmful. They're not putting anything into your body. They're just activating your body's own ability to repair and regenerate itself. So that would have been something that happened. It's kind of like saying, oh, I put on a patch and, a few days later I had a heart attack. That did not happen from the patch. We all know what causes heart attacks, right? It's not a immediate event and poof, it happens. It's something that's out of balance for a long period of time. And then there's just a day that it happens. So keep that in mind, right? Things happen over time. When you feel something or you have an episode or an experience, that isn't an immediate situation. That's something that has been building because of imbalance inside of the body for days and weeks, months, probably even years, until there's a tipping point in the body and it cannot handle the situation anymore. And then you have something happen, whether it be stroke or heart attack or, something like that. It's no different than your hip breaks. That bone didn't get weak instantly, right? It happened over time. So keep that in mind with our patches. And it's going to take time for that repair and regeneration process too. All right. All right, so as far as, let's see, next question. What do you recommend for bones? So we definitely look at the X39 and 49. David's clinical studies showed pretty, promising results happening within the first 60 days. But then we really saw some huge benefits at the 12-month mark. Last year at our convention, Dr. Caitlin Connor, she is one of our doctors, our researchers that performs clinical studies for us. And she was sharing the benefits of the X39-49 on stopping bone loss and increasing bone density. So definitely huge benefits for those two. How do you wear your energy enhancer patches? You can wear them however you want. If you want to wear them daily, you absolutely can. If you want to wear them a couple times a week, you can. It's up to you, whatever your needs may be. Okay. We've kind of already discussed memory issues. Okay, so what? Oh, get rid of I use monk fruit. Monk fruit, yeah, definitely. Don't use sugar. We haven't used sugar, and I don't even know. So I have a friend who has a huge tumor on his pancreas. So he would need to go see his doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, remember, so I'm not going to make any recommendations on any type of potential serious situations. But if you're looking at organ function and improving the organs, we have the X39, like I mentioned, the Y-Age series, which is our carnosine eon, and I don't have a glutathione right now because my son has it in his bathroom. He stole my pack out of my bag, but the glutathione, those 3 patches directly impact organ function in a huge way. Water consumption when using X39, is there a negative effect if you don't get enough? You might have a headache, you might be fatigued, you may not feel that great. Water is key. Like if you don't like it, you're an adult, get over it. My water has limes in it, because I like the flavor of limes. You can put lemons in it. You can soak it overnight in a gallon jug, and mint, cucumber, pineapple, strawberry. I don't care. Put a little monk fruit in it if you want it sweeter. Just drink water every day. Half your body weight in ounces is your goal, not 8-ounce glasses. Most of you don't weigh 120 pounds. So let's just be honest. Some of you do, which is fantastic. I haven't weighed that since 8th grade. So it is never, ever in my entire life going to happen that I weigh 120 pounds again. And so you want to make sure that you're keeping your body hydrated. Your cells need water. As we age, our cells shrink. They have less fluidity to them. That cell-to-cell communication is declining, obviously, as we age. So water keeps your body hydrated, keeps your, like I mentioned earlier with Celtic sea salt or sea moss, keeps the cells hydrated. The water is pulled into the tissues and cells. You need that for your function in your brain and all your organs and tissues and systems, everything. So just get over it if you don't like it. You're an adult, drink it. You're not a kid, right? You can't force a child to do something they don't want to do, but you're an adult. So do it. What patches do you recommend for pain? So when you look at pain, I would use X39, Eon, and Icewave. Icewave is not going to fix your problem. It's just going to get rid of the pain. It opens up those energy channels, right? Stuck energy causes pain. So we want to release that. So I would use those 3 patches for sure. When you look at pain in the brain, I would do the exact same thing. I definitely would. I would also use, if you want the energy enhancer, again, opening up those energy channels. A lot of times people will experience benefits with energy enhancers. You want to put them up here in your TMJ or in your temples, even at the occiput, at the base, just getting the energy flowing and moving the circulation. X49, of course, can help with that as well, too, with how it helps neurologically. Again, circulation is key. Blood flow, energy flow throughout the body. Get that lymphatic system moving. It's so important. My son was thinking that his body, his body as a paraplegic. Okay, so that's when he wears his daytime patches for 12 hours. He feels that he needs to let his body rest. So he's thinking the Silent Night or Icewave he should wear at night. So I don't know what to say to help him realize that it's okay. I guess I'm not really understanding exactly what that question is. So daytime patches are X39, 49 Energy Enhancer. Nighttime patches are definitely Silent Nights and Aloe Vera. Any of the other patches can be worn day or night. So as far as my recording from conference, it is on my YouTube channel. I uploaded it last night, so you can watch it there. Again, pain is X39 Eon and definitely the Icewave. We're observing the more you're in tune with your health, the faster you feel the results. Yes, Dr. Tim, Dr. Kathy, absolutely. Increased tone, light, and life within minutes of my initial patching. That's fantastic. So definitely check out Dr. Tim and Dr. Kathy. I interviewed them a few weeks ago as well, too. They are chiropractors on our team up in Michigan as well. Fantastic interview. So would you know if X39 Eon will help with elevated blood pressure? So again, heart patches, you would definitely see benefits with our 39, our 49, our carnosine. All of these differently impact the heart, but I can tell you this, in clinical studies, we saw a reduction in systolic and diastolic in 60 days with these 2 patches. Okay, so as far as, blood clots, yeah, emergency situation. I'm not a doctor, so I would go to a doctor for that type of situation. But I will tell you this. When you look at bringing down inflammatory markers in the body, one of the inflammatory markers is fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is a blood clotting factor. You have platelets and you have fibrinogen. They go together. You have an accident, cut, bruise, they go together to stop the bleeding internally. Most people, unfortunately, have a higher fibrinogen level. Their blood is thick, it's clotting, sticking together, it's clumpy. You can see this when you look at like microscopy, looking at the blood under the microscope. And so we can see that EON is going to reduce that inflammatory marker of fibrinogen. We see benefits of elevating the GHK copper peptide to reduce that fibrinogen as well too, which keeps that blood nice and thin and flowing and being perfect. I'm not saying these are blood thinners. I'm just saying they directly impact fibrinogen level and they bring it back into balance. If you were to Google fibrinogen, you would see that it is a direct link to cardiovascular disease. High fibrinogen level is a direct link, I don't want to say causes, is a direct link to cardiovascular disease. So definitely use those patches to help with the inflammatory market, keeping that under control. All right, so let's look. Okay, fractured elbow, got the patches on 10/2, went to the clinic yesterday. He was a complete shock. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Wow, that's amazing. At age 61. Your ears are better. I've been suffering with some weird, dry, scratchy eye condition. Now it's nothing. Man, your cyst on your wrist has disappeared. It's only been 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Lee, we need to interview you on our patching podcast on Thursday night. That's fantastic. Send me a message. My email is stacyholweger@gmail.com. I'd love to interview you. As Christine, get with the person that invited you. They can help you get connected to our Telegram. So X39 is no patches are recommended for anyone that's had a transplant. We do not have clinical studies on anyone that's had a heart, kidney, liver, or lung transplant. Obvious reasons, no one's signing up. They waited a long time on that transplant list. They don't want to risk or potentially mess up anything to do with their organ that is saving their life. Life-saving organs are important. We want to keep them there. We don't know that the patches will or will not harm them, so we cannot make any recommendations because of activating your own body's cellular regeneration process. Your body may or may not reject the organ. We don't know. We just don't know. So we don't want to say, obviously we can't say, no, we're not going to study anyone. And so that's just something we say. That's the only caveat is, if you have an organ transplant, you're on serious immunosuppressant drugs, no recommendations. When you look at drooping face, I love that you said that. I would use your X39 and EON right away. I would also use glutathione, right? There's something going on there with that body's immune system. So I would get out some of those toxins, all right? How can you get the new brandy? Yeah, it won't be available until next year, and it's going to be in a very limited supply. David made a let's just say medicinal form of something that we can consume for just one little celebration for our 20-year anniversary. It is not going to be in our catalog for sale. Okay. But definitely know that it's pretty sweet, pretty amazing. Okay. When you look at the endocrine system, our thyroid, our system of glands and organs, we look at SP6. Okay. And so, I know we're out of time, but if you did not get your question answered, I think there may have been a couple more. Please get back with the person that invited you. They can help you get those questions answered. We do have 2 resources in the chat, definitely for you to go look and do your own research and information. But the person that invited you is going to help you get set up with your patches. Okay. And like I said, the recording will be on my YouTube channel. It'll be a little bit later tonight. I've got another Zoom right now, but I will have it uploaded and available for you guys. And I look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday, same time, same place. I will be here sharing more information and of course, answering all of your questions. So thank you all for being here. Have a fantastic evening.